What's going on, guys? Welcome to this bonus where I show you how to track your inventory and I show you when is the best time to reorder inventory, right? Because you know how big I am on cash flow. Inventory management is going to tie right into your cash flow, meaning that, let's say you have 1,000 units sitting at Amazon. Well, when is the best time to reorder? Because you don't want to reorder too soon and be out all that cash without seeing as much return. But you also don't want to reorder too late because then you run the risk of going out of stock. There's a very fine line. It can be a little tricky, and I find for new sellers and experienced sellers, inventory management is one of the more challenging parts of this entire business, no doubt about it. Especially when you have to plan around certain holidays, Prime Day, November, December. These are all times of the year where your sales are just going to shoot through the roof. Even certain holidays like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and Father's Day, if your product is a popular gift item, those kind of holidays too will definitely spike and inflate your sales. And it's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for us as small business owners because we don't have these massive, massive corporate budgets like these big guys do. And we have to be very frugal and calculated when it comes to ordering our inventory. Knowing this information, I've devised a way where I can sort of have my best guess on when to reorder my inventory. And I'm going to show you how I do that right now. So we're at our Seller Central dashboard. I'm going to go to view more of my sales statistics right here. And here on the left, we're going to go to detail page sales and traffic by child item. Okay, that's important because if you were to do parent, that's going to include the parent and we don't want the parent. So maybe I haven't explained this in the past, but every Amazon listing is either a standalone listing, meaning you have one singular product on the listing, or it's a parent-child relationship, meaning that you have variations. So if you are selling a t-shirt and you're just selling a small white t-shirt, one size and one color, you have a standalone listing. If that white t-shirt also has a red t-shirt on the listing, you now have a parent-child relationship. So that's that, but we want to do the child item because that's going to give us the accurate data for the one singular product that we're trying to track. Click on that. And obviously you'll see just one product for yourself in this list if you're just starting and you have one product. So what you want to do, come up here to these date ranges in the top right. And we want to take 7 days. We just want to keep track of our 7-day sales numbers. Okay. So I'm just going to go July 1st. Or let's see, I'm just going to go with July 12th through July 19th. Sure. Okay. So July 12th through 19th, 7 days or 8 days maybe. But what you're going to do, take your product. Let's just use one with more sales for better reference. 133 sales. Let's go. So what's 133 divided by 7? That's what we would do. And so you can see we're probably selling an average of 19 per day. Knowing that information, we also need to know how much inventory we actually have in stock at Amazon. How much fulfillable inventory is sitting at Amazon? Basically, if we're selling 19 units a day, how long is the inventory going to last us? And once we figure that equation out, okay, so 19 units per day. And let's say we have 400 units at Amazon FBA. Well, let's do 400 divided by 19. That means that we have 21 days left of stock at Amazon. And again, guys, unfortunately, there's no absolutely perfect science to this, but this is as close to a perfect science as you could get, in my opinion. Like I said, inventory management is challenging for everybody. So we have 21 days left of stock at Amazon. Is that enough time for us to sit on that for a while, or do we need to reorder now? Well, what do we know about China? We know that as soon as we place our initial order, our initial 30% or whatever percentage that is, it's going to take, we always have to gauge for around, or budget plan for around 30 days of manufacturing time. So we have 21 days at Amazon with our current stock levels. We know manufacturing takes 30 days. I'm just going to say 30 days because that's the average. Depending on air shipping, 5 to 10 days for air shipping. If you're doing big bulk orders, sea shipping is going to be 15 to 45 days. Why is it so random? Well, that's just the way sea shipping works, I'm afraid. And sea shipping is always going to take, it's never going to be 15. It's always going to be closer to the 35 to 45 range. So best case scenario, right? I assume most of you are probably going to be doing air shipping. Your product from the moment you place your initial order is going to take probably 40 days to actually arrive and check and fully check in at Amazon's warehouses, right? Air express shipping, I would plan for 40 days from the date of your initial order, aka the 30%, or maybe you negotiated lower, to the date that your inventory becomes fulfillable at Amazon. And again, 40 days is actually cutting it pretty close. Oftentimes it can take a little more than that. And when I say the date that your inventory becomes fulfillable, as soon as your inventory lands at the Amazon FBA warehouse, it's not fulfillable right that second. It actually has to go through a check-in process through their warehouse, which can sometimes take a couple days. That's why you always have to plan for the worst. So again, 40 days is actually being quite aggressive. If you want to be really conservative and cover your butt in case of any sort of, freak scenario, again, something can always go wrong. So you might want to up this to 45 or 50 just to give yourself a lot of wiggle room. So obviously, if it's going to take us 40 days, well, we might be screwed, right? Because we only have 21 days left in stock. We need to order ASAP. But this is the formula that is proven to be most accurate for me. Taking your 7-day sales number average, and then calculating that, dividing it with the units, fulfillable units that you have at FBA, arriving at an average daily sales number, and then factoring in that average daily sales number into the expected lead time from your supplier. That is the easiest way to do it, really simplified. We can go into further depth, but for the sake of this video, this is all you need. Again, we're just getting off the ground, getting things kicking in our Amazon business. This will provide you a great benchmark and initial training on how to keep track of your inventory. Highly recommend you take this seriously because this is a big deal. And I'm just going to throw out one more little thing. Let's say you order 1,000 units for your very first order. And let's say we're already minus 300 from our launch via giveaways. We now have 700 units left to sell at full price. And let's say in a perfect world, we did achieve we kicked ass in our launch and achieved page 1 rankings for a couple of our main keywords. Well, let's say now that we're literally going to be doing, 30 sales per day organically after the launch. Well, what is 700 divided by 30? So we have 23 days essentially of stock, which means that we're really cutting it close, and we're probably going to go out of stock for a few days, which is why we would need to order ASAP. The reason I'm covering this scenario right here is because this is the scenario that you're going to be experiencing when you first launch your product. So the big question is going to be for you when you first launch, well, when should I reorder my second order? The answer is if you execute everything to your best ability and follow the trainings in this course on how to launch your product. you're going to want to literally, the best time to reorder your second stock, it would be during your launch of your first stock. I know that's counterintuitive and that can seem really risky and reckless to some of you, but that truly is the reality, depending, of course, how many units you order. Whether maybe you order 2,000 units for your initial order, then you might have a little bit of leeway in terms of reordering. But if you're cutting it close, let's say you're ordering 500 units and 250 are going to have to get shaved right off the top for giveaways. Well, you're only left at 250. You're definitely going to be screwed in terms of going out of stock once you achieve organic page ranking. That's why the best time to reorder, from my experience, is literally a couple days, if not the same day that your initial order actually lands at Amazon. So let me repeat that. Once your initial order of 1,000 units lands at Amazon and becomes fulfillable, and day one you start beginning your product launch, the best time to then place your reorder and plunk down the next 30% down payment, I guess you could say, and get the manufacturing going is the same day that your initial order arrives and becomes fulfillable at Amazon. That gives you the biggest risk mitigation of not running out of stock. And that's from my experience. Again, because from my experience, I'm able to rank products and get them churning out sales in a pretty short period of time. I've proven this over and over and over again, so now there's really not much question on my end whether the product's actually going to sell, because I pretty much know that it's going to sell. Therefore, I can reorder my second order very, very with a clear head, knowing that I'm making a good decision. It's a lot harder when it's your very first order and you haven't done this before or proven it. But like I said, it's totally up to you. I'm giving you what works for me and what works for my past experience. Hope this video was helpful in some way. I will see you on the next one. All right. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to cover what to do if you run out of stock, if you run out of inventory. What do you do? What should you do? Number one is don't panic. Okay? Many people have painted the picture that running out of stock is literally going to crush you and it's going to completely derail your thriving business. And it's not true. Not as big of a deal as you think. Okay? Why do I say that? It's because from my experience, every time I have actually ran out of stock, once my product gets back into stock, Amazon usually always returns it to its rightful place in the ranks. So let me just type it out here. Amazon remembers, to an extent, where you should be ranked. What can influence that? When I say to an extent, what can really influence that one way or the other? The duration of which you're out of stock has a big impact on that. So when I say going out of stock is not a big deal, I truly don't believe it's a big deal. Of course, it's a big deal in terms of not making sales and not making money and not supporting your cash flow. But I'm mainly in this video referring to, are you gonna have to completely launch your product again, like relaunch it in order to get back to where you were? The answer is no. But I will say this. You will definitely lose a little bit of ranking if you're out of stock for, say, a month. Okay, that's a long time. But if you're only out of stock for a couple days, even a week, even 2 weeks, okay, that's kind of pushing it. But if you're even out of stock for a couple weeks, I have noticed when my inventory gets back into Amazon, Amazon returns it generally to its rightful place. Now, that may take a week. That may take 10 days. You just have to give Amazon a little bit of time to sort of remember where you should be. And generally, they put you back where you should be. I just wanted to make this video because it's literally, people absolutely freak out about it. And for good reason. I absolutely freaked out when I ran out of stock for the first time. Again, I ran out of stock. I've ran out of stock so many times I can't even keep track anymore. And that's a good problem. That means you're selling a lot of units. It's a better problem to have than sitting on a bunch of unsold inventory paying storage fees, right? So running out of stock is not the end-all be-all. It's not going to cripple you or crush you. It is a pain in the ass, but remember not to panic, not to freak out, because Amazon usually remembers where you are. If you are in the situation that I highlighted where you're out of stock for 30 days or over 30 days, you may have to do a little mini relaunch of sorts where you give away some discounted units again just to spike up that sales velocity, spike up that conversion rate. And you might also want to get a little more aggressive with your Amazon sponsored ads for a week or so, just to buoy up that ranking back to where it should be. But honestly, those are my recommendations. Please don't panic. I caution you to just remain calm. And that's that, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.